My typical week is about as busy as many other disciplines here at the school. I see some of my classmates who are in like computer sciences and they had to spend a lot of time outside of class, on programs or whatever. And with Flagship, it's a lot of the same. There's, additional tutoring. There's a lot of time you have to put on your own with studying vocabulary and such. So while it's definitely an additional commitment, it's not anything that one wouldn't be able to handle. So in a general week, I would say I spend outside of class, to include tutoring, Flagship tutoring, a solid 10 hours probably. And then, the class is an additional 5 or so. And then it depends if there's additional projects or whatever going on, but just on my own, about that much.
When I was in Flagship, a week was, the classes were like normal, except the ones that I took last semester were taught in Chinese. And because of that, it required me to put in a lot more extra time to get the work done. And so basically a week was just kind of like an honors program, but with languages. So it just took a lot more effort from you.
Typical week as a Flagship student consists of Tuesday and Thursday I have about 3 classes. Monday I have one 2.5-hour class, as well as Friday I have another 2.5-hour class. Probably the biggest thing about that though is that it's not the class time that's important. It's really the assignments that we're given during class that we have to do on our own time. I'd say I spend about more than double the amount of time that I'm in class, outside of class actually studying and doing the work. And like I mentioned earlier, with having the tutoring, that time is also a big part of our week as Flagship students, because that's when we're getting one-on-one attention, we're getting the corrections that we need on certain parts that we might feel unsure of or we might have questions on. So to sum it up, one week, like a typical week in Flagship is really busy, but it's more on the personal studying side. So personally, I plan on majoring in the Korean Flagship as well as double major in international business as well. So far I have taken some business classes alongside my Korean classes, and I think that it's a good example of how the real world is gonna be. I can't put 100% of my time and focus only in one area. As far as like how much effort needs to be put into double major, it's a lot, but I think the reward is huge as well.
A typical week for a Flagship student obviously involves a lot of studying. You go to class sometimes 8 o'clock in the morning. You're not quite aware of your surroundings yet, but you listen to lectures in Korean, you participate in discussions about issues, and you have to try to express your own opinion at the same time. And it can be a little intense learning about another culture in another language. But I think it's probably one of the best ways to completely immerse yourself into the culture as well as learning the language itself.